What's up everyone? In this next video tutorial, I'll be showing you how to take your previously created web page wireframes and turn them into complete page designs using the Sketch design software and your brand style guide. All right guys, in this video tutorial, what I'm gonna end up doing today is showing you how to take one of your existing wireframes that you should have already created for either one of your landing pages or your lead pages and convert that over into the final design. So what I have loaded up here in the Sketch software is a wireframe for a lead capture page and then also the final design for the lead capture page. Both of these files are available for download within the modules for the wireframe and then also the module for designing your web pages. So make sure you check back and download those as resources for you to use when designing your own lead capture pages. So we're going to start here. I've got the wireframe set up here. I've got the final design set up here. I'm just going to go ahead and show you how you would take this wireframe and add the existing content to it. So first off, up here in the hero area, you'll notice that we have a photo in the background here. So what I'm going to do first is I've already exported out all these photos and I've got them available for me to pull into this design. So I'm going to go up here in the upper left and click on image, and I'm going to search for that specific image. Now I've loaded that image in there. I just need to size it down a little bit so it fits within this hero area up here in the top. And then you'll also notice that it is mirrored, or it's flipped the other direction. So what I'm going to do now that I have that size down a little bit is I'm going to go up here into the upper right and I'm going to flip that image using this tool right here. And then I'm going to expand that out just a little bit more, zoom in there, and that looks pretty good. What you'll also notice is that over the top of this is a darker overlay. So I'm going to add that on there by using the rectangle tool right up here in the top. I'm going to draw a rectangle over the top of that image. I'm then going to turn off the border color, and then I'm going to change the main color of this to black. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to bring down the opacity on this till you start to see that image coming through. So next up, what I have to do here is in the design, we have a video set up in here, but as of right now, we're just going to keep this as a placeholder because the video will be edited out and changed during the development process. So we're just going to keep this as a video placeholder. During this time is when you would go in here and add your actual text for that design. Next thing we have to do in the hero area up here is just change out this call to action button to make sure that it's being represented with your attention color from your style guide. So select on that background of that call to action button, go over here on the right, click on the color palette. Using the eyedropper tool, you can then select the color that you want for that. So there we go guys, we have the hero all set up. We're moving down here into the next section, which is the benefits and results section. First thing we're going to look at is these background colors. So over here on this side, we're going to select that one. Using this color palette picker with this picker tool, we're going to go over here and just assign that darker color to that one. Same thing over here on the right, using the color picker tool, choose that color. Next thing we're going to do is change up this font. It needs to be changed to white. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to select on one of those, and I'm going to hold down the shift key and select the other ones. Now all of them are selected. Now I can just use the color palette picker over here and then change that off to white. Next we have to change out these photos. It's actually two circles that are right here. First thing we have to do is break these apart because everything is connected into one object. So you'd select on that, go to up to arrange, ungroup, and then the same thing over on this one, select on it, arrange, ungroup, and now we're going to remove those little photo indicators on there because we no longer need those. And then what we're going to do is search for this image right here by clicking on the image icon up here in the top. Got that image loaded in there. Now once again, we just have to size this image down so it fits. What I'm going to do is I'm going to drop it behind this circle, and now that it's behind that circle, I'm going to size it down a little bit more. But then what I'm going to do is I'm going to click on the circle, I'm going to come up here to opacity, I'm going to start to bring down the opacity of that so you can start to see that image coming through. Then I'm going to finally move this in just where I want it, and then when it's where I want it to be, what I'm going to do is I'm going to mask off this image so what you're going to see is just what's being covered by that circle. To do that, all you have to do is make sure the image is selected, hold down the shift key, select the circle as well. So now both those objects are selected. You're going to right click and then you're going to mask. So now we have that masked off circle, and all we have to do now is grab this back circle that's white currently and change it over to black by using that color picker tool with the eyedropper, selecting that color, and that is all set. Next, we just have to do the same thing over here on the right for this image. Now we've got both those images in there. Once again, you would go in here and change out this text to be your actual text to replace the placeholder text that we've added in there just for that wireframe process. Next up, we just have to change these call to action buttons off to be that attention color. So once again, using this color picker tool and the eyedropper, select the color you want on those. And then lastly, we just have to change off the text color to then go ahead and be black instead of white. All right, scrolling down a little bit here, we have the what's included section in here. So first off, we're taking a look at this background, and this background is currently white. So we're gonna use the rectangle tool. We're then gonna go ahead and draw a black background over this and making sure that that is sent all the way to the back. You can go up here to the top to arrange, and then you can go send to back. So now it sends it all the way to the back. We're going to turn off the border color. We're going to use this color picker tool to then go ahead and change that to black. Now you notice that the text disappeared because it's also black. So we're going to hold down the shift key and we're going to select all the text that's in here, and then we're just going to change that off to be white so it stands out. So next what we're going to do is replace this photo in here. So we just have to do what we've done in the previous rows, search for that photo and add it in here instead of this placeholder. Now that I've got this image loaded in here, once again, we're gonna make sure that it goes in behind this box. And then what we're gonna do is we're gonna bring down the opacity on this box so you can see that image coming through. We're then gonna scale down this image so it fits in there appropriately. And then once that's all set up, we are gonna select that image. We're gonna hold down the shift key, select that box. We're gonna right click and then we're gonna mask. Then we just have to change off this little border box here. Instead of being white, it's a dark gray color. So using that eyedropper tool, we're then gonna select that color. Once again, you would replace all this existing text in here that was just the placeholder text with your real text for the web page, but for this tutorial, we're just going to keep it there as this placeholder text. Next, what we have to do is just click on this call to action button and change off that color to be the attention color. And then we just have to change the label to be black. All right, scrolling down here, we've got a couple more rows to go. We are looking at the what clients are saying row. So first off, we just have to change down that background color. Currently it is a light gray. We're going to use that eyedropper tool to change that off to the darker gray. And then once again, holding on the shift key, we're going to select that text up there, change that to white. These items are all grouped right now. We're going to break those apart by clicking on the Arrange tab in the upper left and then Ungroup. Now that they are ungrouped, we are going to hold down the Shift key, select all that text, and switch it from black to white. Now what we have to do is change off all these stars to be that attention gold color. So I'm going to zoom in here just a little bit, and then I'm going to hold down that Shift key, selecting all of these stars. Then what I'm going to do is use this eyedropper tool and select the call to action color, and then I'm going to do that for the others as well. All right, now we have all the stars changed up. Last thing we have to do in this row is change out and add these images for your testimonials in there. So once again, just like we've done with all the other photos, we're gonna search for those images. We're gonna drop them down behind these circles, change down that opacity, and then we're gonna mask them off. So the last row we have here is the call to action row down here in the bottom, and really all we have to do on this row is change out this background color to be the image that we see over here on the left, and then also change out the color of the call to action button. So first off, in the upper left, I'm going to click on image and search for this bottom image that's included in this footer. Now that the image is loaded in there, we're just going to scale it down to make sure it fits right. And then what we're going to do, just like we've done with all the other images, is make sure it's dropped behind this black color. We're going to select this black color. We're going to bring down that opacity so you can start to see the image coming through. We're going to get the image adjusted right here. And then we're going to make sure we're selecting the image and then holding down the shift key, selecting also that color block over the top of that, right clicking, and then going ahead and clicking on mask. And now once again, just like the hero up here in the top section, you'll see that there is an overlay over the top of that. So I'm going to use that rectangle tool. I'm going to draw a rectangle over the top of this. Then first thing I'm going to do is turn off that border color. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to change up the color of that to actually be black by choosing that over here. Then I'm going to bring down that opacity until you start to see that image coming through, and it looks pretty good. And then the last thing we have to do is just make sure we change off the color on this call to action button to match the rest of our attention color buttons. And then change off the font to then be black. So there we have it, guys. We have just created a duplicate of the final design page using that existing wireframe that you should have created in one of the previous modules. If you have any questions on this, please let me know. Remember, I'm always here to help.